Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, we know it's tough to talk about, so we'll help you start the conversation about end-of-life issues. Then, Open Wide will be filling your mind with ways to brighten your smile. They scouted for ways to help seniors and then raked in compliments. It's a story you'll fall for. Plus, the doctor is in with medical news you can use and what to do if you can't make your mortgage payments.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. It's human nature that we like to live our lives on our own terms, the way we want and the way we are. And it's also human nature that no one likes to think about or talk about dying the way we want. But that conversation is important too, not only for you, but for your loved ones. Karen Vertunsky and Brian Bagley Bonner are here to talk us through this important subject. Karen's a clinical resource education counselor, and Brian's a clinical resource counselor in spiritual care, and both are from Hospice of the Western Reserve. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, talking about death is usually a good way to kill a conversation. So, tell us, where do we start?
Well, one of the ways that works really well is to look for opportunities that present themselves in everyday life. So, for example, if I'm watching a television show or a movie with my family and there is an issue around end-of-life care, it's a great way to, at the commercial break or after the movie finishes, to say, gee, you know, we've never really talked about that. And then to have a conversation around what our wishes might be. Another way, and it worked with my own parents, was to capitalize on their telling me about a situation with some of their own friends, their own healthcare needs and issues that came up. And I said, gee, you know, we've never talked about that, Mom. You know, what would you want if that were you? So that was really great.
The holidays are coming up. Does that give us a chance?
Holidays are a great time, absolutely. Families come together, sometimes not very often during the rest of the year, but at Thanksgiving, which is around the corner, it's a great time for families to actually sit down and have this conversation. In fact, we sometimes say, you know, the day after Thanksgiving, after you do your shopping, sit down and have a conversation about what your needs might be, what your wishes might be.
After you eat the turkey, then you talk turkey.
Then you talk turkey, yeah. And some people make it a party. Some people really get into, you know, sort of dispelling some of the fear around it and do it more in a party kind of format.
Brian, okay, so now we open the door, we have an excuse. What do we talk about?
Well, there's two legal documents. There's the living will that talks about what it is you want and maybe more importantly what it is you don't want at the end of life. And then there's the durable power of attorney for health care, or it's sometimes called healthcare proxy. Sometimes people get confused about durable power of attorney, thinking that's a document about legal and financial things, but there's a separate document for healthcare, and that one you get to pick someone who will speak for you if you are unable to speak and make decisions about withdrawing, withholding, or beginning treatment. So,
both of those important documents. Karen, kinds of questions we should be focusing on when we have this discussion.
Sure. Actually, I wanted to share that our agency has a great resource for helping guide folks through this process. It's called Courage in Conversations.
Okay.
And it includes the two documents that Brian just talked about, the living will and the durable power of attorney for healthcare, the blank forms, but it also has questions and things to think about as you're going to approach this process. So things like, what's important to me? Is it more important to me to be at home? Or is it more important to me to not have my family have to care for me? Is it more important for me to be able to eat and drink on my own, or to just have adequate nutrition? Where do I want to be at the end of my life? Who do I want to have with me? Ways that we can really kind of think through what is going to really be quality of life for me.
One of the questions that I saw, which I thought was interesting, was would you be willing to have put up with some pain in order to still remain fully cognizant of what's going on.
Yes, and
That's an important one.
we see that frequently in our care at Hospice of the Western Reserve. You know, a patient, we think everybody wants to be totally pain-free, but if it means not being as alert to be able to interact with the people that I care about, then I might be willing to have a little bit more pain in order to have that relationship.
And hospice is such a great program. It provides wonderful and soothing help in those last days, weeks, whatever. So,
And it's really important for us to help the patient have the experience they want. It's their end of life. They get to choose these documents, the discussion with the family. It's really, we don't have an agenda. Our agenda is to help people have the experience at the end of life they want.
and we're going to give a website in a moment, the hospicewr.org, for people to get the documents that you were talking about. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you.
All right, so Frank Sinatra crooned, "I did it my way," and you can do it your way too, but only if you make your needs known, so your family can be in tune with your wishes. My thanks to Karen and Brian for joining us today.
For more information, call the Hospice of the Western Reserve at 800-707-8922 or visit their website www.hospicewr.org. Next, brushing up on how to get a beautiful smile.